What's going on, everybody? This is the Mad King up the mountains. This is the king that sits on his throne. King Kman here live in the Kman Productions laboratory, baby. We out here. We out here, as I always say. Your boys from originally from Chicago. Trying to change things up for a bit, as my time as as a sailor and as a family man, as a everybody that needs help, I am that helper kind of guy. Today we just want to talk about, what is greatness? What is the greatest of all time, the GOAT? How that is implied to you, you know what I'm saying? You have my interpretations and, how I feel about it and then how it can be applied into everyday life and everything such as such. But before we get started, this song will basically go along with it as it always it's in the intro of this episode. It's called Rose Golden by Kid Cudi and Wallow Smith. I'm just gonna quote the beginning part, like the chorus of the song. So it'll go by like this. Oh, since I was young, been roving to my own drum. Ain't that many teachers show me my potential. Felt like a failure. Mama said you know better. Future in my hands. God, she had a plan. Stronger than I know. Soon I understand the power I possess. The story of the chosen. What does that mean? Right? Basically saying, okay, like that first part when it says, since I was young, grooving to my own drum. Basically, you just been doing your own thing. You have your own personalities that people can't mess with. People want to, but they just can't. They don't want to believe in you. Everybody turns down on you. When the people that supposedly have your back don't have your back, it's not because of certain circumstances. They just don't have it. You have their back. You're loyal to them, but but it's still your personality. It's still how you run things. It's your life, basically. People shouldn't tell you what you can and cannot do, whatever it may attain in that level. And that many teachers show me my potential. Felt like a failure. Mama say you know better. So there's a lot of people that wants to teach you other ways of being like them. Other ways to understand the work of the world in their image, if I should say. It's not, it's hard to really try to do that to somebody, but if somebody looks up to you, you tend to use their image of words and then trying to create your own until, whatever you may become in the near future. That's kind of hard to really describe, but it's just that, if you really feel like a failure, then it means that everybody literally put you down. Everybody don't believe in what you're trying to do. And it's understandable because we live in that society where everybody wants to be independent. Everybody wants to be heard. And then there are some that just use their, Bill of Rights, Constitution, the freedom of speech to say, you suck or you don't matter. Basically messing up your mental health, messing up your anxiety of trying to deal with people because this is the real world. This is real as it gets, but you have to understand how to deal with it. And then when it says like your mama said, you know better because probably that person that you look up to, warned you about the outsiders, the seekers of destruction. Not destruction like that, but some people are made like that. Some people just doubt and then they change their mind because they actually see how you are. It's just they don't have the trust in that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how that is describing. The next one says, "Future in my hands, God, she had a plan." It's normally talking about your mom. It's normally talking about your guardian, your father, maybe. Could be a transsexual, but I'm not judging. Anybody can be your main influencer. Um, future is in your hands because it's your life. You know, you can make it how you want to be, and ain't nobody's gonna sit there and blame you for it. It's just that's how it is. That's how it does. Blah blah blah. Stronger than I know. Soon I will understand the power I possess. The story of the chosen. Sit there and blame you. I would say that means to have the will to understand how you work, understand who you are, is more. It's more powerful. It's more powerful than you ever can imagine. Your imagination and the words that you stand by, your actions, it all reflects on who you are. It doesn't have to be your past. You know, everybody can have a great past and then mess up on their present because they've been living in the past, and then their future will never become greater than that. It'll just go downhill, and you don't want that. The story of the chosen. That it kind of really put an image in your mind. What is the story of the chosen? Are you the person that's the story of the chosen? Is it the story about you? Or is it the story that you're about the group that you're in? Or is it the story about, what kind of life that you live? What's your livelihood? What's your commitment? Your loyalty? The story about your respect upon people, and with the and new changes to like technology and everything like that. So that's story of the chosen is really it just depends. It depends on how you look at it. If you are chosen by somebody, then it means you're the it factor. You gotta be the golden standard of what you've been chosen for. As people will tell a story, it could be great or good. It could be great, it could be good, or it could be bad, it could be worse. But it just all depends on how you want your legend to start and end, if that makes sense. Um, that's what my interpretation of the chorus of that song. I'm not gonna go in depth into the song because that's just too much. But I will tell you what the meaning is. Like, what's the meaning of the song from Kid Cudi and Willow Smith? They said that the song carries a theme of independence and faith in oneself. Independence and faith in is oneself. What does make what makes a person independent? It doesn't mean it probably means like you don't have to rely on nobody, right? It probably means that you did everything on your own, or independence could be you're free, freedom. Um, it could mean, of course, like you don't have to rely on anybody. You did everything on your own and on your own terms. That's basically how people wants to live. Faith. Faith is to believe, but it depends on what do you believe in. Is that makes you independent? Is that makes you great? Is that what makes you want to be the greatest of all time? The GOAT? Who knows? Um, they called it rose golden because it represents the combination of love and greatness in all in their endeavors. Love and greatness. Not all love can be great. It's just how you express the love that can be great. At least that's my opinion. Because I can be the greatest at whatever I put my mindset in, but I have to show that I love the things that I'm doing today. I can't love the things I did in the past because that would mean I'll be living in the past. It's all about what you want to love next. What is the next goal? You need to have goals to even consider being the greatest. If you only consider being greatest at a certain level, that means that is like the highest you can go. You set a level, you you set a mark at yourself that you can't surpass. You can't go past that limit. Your life should be limitless. So not a lot of people can understand that because, that's how they are. You can't get mad at them for that because that's their own decision to make. But at least you can always point it out to them like, hey, hey, maybe you can swing it on this way, if you're a little bit more open minded to it. You don't have to force it on them. It's just, you know, it's the thought that counts. And that's where the lost art is at. Where the thought is count, but everybody want to throw their opinions at people because they feel like they're great at that subject or they're great at that position, job. They're great at um, influencing people to do other things that they may or may not want to do. So that's how I take it in that. Love and greatness are that can be the greatest combination to be the greatest of all time. But it depends on how you go about it. So at least that's my interpretation of that. Now of course, the word of the week, as we already talked about the song of the week, that's why it's connecting greatest of all time or greatness, as you look at, Michael Jordan, for example, Kobe Bryant, Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg. What did they do to be the greatest of all time? It takes, integrity, that the things that you are doing, you have to be at least proud of it. You got to show the emotions. You got to show that you love what you're doing in this situation that you are in. You love the actions you pulling together to, do whatever you need to do to survive in this world, in this lifetime that you live in right now. Like it's kind of, unfortunate that, Kobe died, but Kobe, when he was still alive, he was still going. Like he was still doing things even after retirement of the NBA. You know, gone beyond just basketball. He was going to do sponsoring soccer. He was going to be sponsored with body armor. Anything to keep going. You can't just stop at just, oh, I'm just a retired 5-time NBA champion. You can't stop at that. And you already at that level of like greatness as it is, and everybody just talks and talks about you, speaking the legend of your representation of what you do. But that doesn't stop his movement. It doesn't stop his wave. his potential is not stopped at meeting his maximum. He surpasses that and try to make new legends, new stories to keep his name relevant. If that makes sense. Greatness comes from within. It also can be earned or inherited. And that's kind of hard to really say that when people hear greatness can be earned or inherited. Take it for example, let's just say in this scenario that, as an African American, I wasn't born rich. But my goal is to be rich. But how do I go about it? Do I go on the bad side or on the good side? The bad side is, I can just go, do all the bad things, this hood rat stuff. Rob a bank or, rob a store, easily get caught, go to jail, get some tattoos, telling them about this life, blah, blah, blah. That's the bad side. Sure, I can be great at being the worst, but is that how I want to portray my name out there for people to remember? It's not being, at least in my opinion, it's not legendary. It's not what's the story that's been told by others that can be influenced of and then try to at least follow the similar footsteps that I am. Nobody wants the bad side. Good side could be that, despite my disadvantage of not being born rich or not being inherited money, I can make my own standard of being like, okay, I want this by the time I'm 30. I want this amount of money in my savings or investment accounts at the age of 30. By the time I get there, $2 million is all you need to retire, really. So what's stopping me? That's what you need to ask yourself in that situation. It's not about setting, you can set goals, but you got to keep going with setting it. You can't just, I set a goal as a check mark box and then, I'm done. When the moment you say you done, then that's when your legends stop. That's when you're the greatest of all time at this time period. You stop. And you can't blame no one else for you stopping yourself. And people may not remember. The only time you really stop, and even then that don't even make sense. Even the time you really will stop is when you're dead. Cool. So goofy. Yeah, the only you gotta be your own person when it comes to being greatness. You may inherit it, but it's what you gonna do with this inherited stuff. If you're inherited money, if you're inherited a business, if you inherited a family tradition, are you going to keep it going? Are you going to ask for new changes? Are you going to be the one that's holding the line? You got to be the one that's holding the line. If you don't hold the line, then what's the point? Just go on and mess around. You don't pay attention to what you're doing to yourself. Then you realize you lost the purpose of that line that you set for yourself and then on to keep going. So that's what it really takes to be the greatest of all time, or just being great at it. Be the greatness, be the person that you want to be, but express it in so much greater. But yeah, that will end it for this today's segment. I just, I'm trying something new. Normally I'm just a video gamer kind of guy. You know, I keep everything to myself. I don't really express things out like that unless, like, I feel the need to tell somebody about it. But I think starting with this podcast will make me feel, just a little bit better with, communicating how I really feel, how, some people may be misguided about certain things, and I feel like I can be the person to explain it just a little bit better than most. But I don't know. It's just my opinion. But I feel like this is the time where I want to be more expressive, and this is the way I am showing it. So tune in next time. Hopefully I'll have another word of the week and then another song of the week that comes together. That way everybody can understand fully of what am I trying to talk about and what is my message for you guys. So but yeah, tune in next time. Follow me on that Spotify, Go ahead and hit me up on YouTube on Chi-Town Gamers. Chi-Town Gamers, that's what's up. This is King Kman signing out. And have a great life. Have a great day. You are the greatest of all time. It just depends on how you want to set that standard. You have to be the golden standard. You must be the rose golden. Can you dig it? Or can you not dig it? That is the true question.